And I thought I'd go to Blank from Blank on Crime and bring her on the show, and let's talk more about this. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Dana.
Excellent work. My hat's off to you. I'm giving you a big thumbs up, although you can't see it on the radio, because anything that we can do as show hosts, as blog hosts, as bloggers, as just citizens out there that care to help families like this, the Ocasio family, the Kesse family, whatever, and maybe we can bring this crap can Hadaway to jail where it looks like he belongs for some time is a good thing. Tell us how this all came about.
Well, the Ocasio case has certainly, developed in a way that the similarities between the two cases really started by location or logistics. And then, of course, you have basically two women that have completely vanished without a single clue or piece of evidence that would indicate, with the exception perhaps that in the Ocasio case they do have some cell phone data which puts her in that vicinity. But the likelihood didn't stop there. Jennifer worked in Ocoee, which is how that's pronounced, Dana, which is literally a few miles from the scene here. In addition, she was a member at a gym in Ocoee and then subsequently in Orlando. In this gym is located directly next door to the taproom bar where this young woman, Tracy Ocasio, was last seen with the primary suspect, Jimmy Hadaway. Upon hearing that, Mr. Kesse, Drew Kesse, drew that parallel very quickly. Mm-hmm. And he knew that she had frequented the tap room. I'm speaking of Jennifer Kesse now. Mm-hmm. And that really started our editorial staff and our researchers on a path that we think is very compelling. It goes to both of the, there's another gentleman by the name of Gregory Toole, who is an associate of both Ms. Ocasio's and also Mr. Hadaway's, who is a registered sex offender. And he was the trainer to the trainer for Mr. Hadaway as a personal trainer, and both of these gentlemen worked as personal trainers in both of these gyms. So it is feasible that the connections lie there. The other connection that we're looking at strongly is Mr. Hadaway has quite a bit of tattoos and has endorsed a certain tattoo artists, if you will. We haven't gotten there yet, but Jennifer had a very recent tattoo as well. So those are all of the things that we're looking at. That in conjunction with, early on, there was a composite, actually, to be honest, there were from three different law enforcement agencies where the surveillance footage of the person of interest in Jennifer's case was seen parking her car.
Yes.
The height of the individual ranged from a maximum of 5 feet 5 inches to now it's expanded from 5 feet to 5'11", and I'm very happy to hear that, because for a lot of us, when we saw that data, it just did not seem possible. Mm-hmm. It really did not. And I'm told the latest study puts the individual at about 5'10". So the sad part of that is that such a large piece of compelling evidence that hasn't gotten anywhere. But now it looks like we have some inroads to some leads that are hopefully will progress, giving answers to the Kesse family and, of course, the Ocasio family, and putting a perpetrator in jail, if in fact that's where he belongs.
Yep, no, for sure. And when you look at cases like this and you look at that sort of evidence, and whether it's this case or other cases, descriptions, height, weight, eye color, all that sort of stuff is very subjective. But when you look at a break for a family, you and I were talking about this off air a little bit, the Kesse family, who I'm very familiar with, or the other family, it is so good and it is so refreshing. Although they've had many tips tips that lead nowhere, and disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. Oh, all you have to do is look at the, Natalie Holloway case, and how many times can a family be slapped down? Where I think the good work that you do on your blog and that the monkeys do on scaredmonkeys.com is they bring that little bit of hope. And you know what? That little bit of hope can turn into evidence that can turn into something for this case. Tell us a little bit about this Hathaway. What do you know about him?
I know a lot about him. This individual has, I'll start at the beginning, he's had a very brutal, challenging childhood. His parents were both hearing impaired. The breakup of his family was about 1993, and his mother had attempted suicide a few times. He was even told by his father that she was deceased at one point. He had spent a lot of his youth in and out of juvenile facilities, and that being said, it is certainly horrible to hear that about somebody, but his life has been pretty much peppered with drug use and progressive drug use. And he has hung out with people that are involved in drug use, and that's pretty apparent in his life. He does have a small child, and the reports I'm hearing was he was recently on some sort of path to try and clean himself up somewhat. I have to say, for this case, this individual, I've never seen people so split. And when I say that, I mean, you know how I'm getting interviews with insiders from both sides of the fence. That would be Ms. Ocasio's and also, obviously, the work we've done on the Kesse case, but also Hathaway's. I've just never seen such a split down the middle, where people are saying, you would have never seen this coming, and then seeing an act of violence that I think I can safely say was perpetrated against a young woman in Castleberry, Florida last August that he is guilty of. I say this because I've interviewed and I've spoken with witnesses. I believe she's telling the truth. So it's odd in that when we look at Jen's case and we look at Tracy's case, where there's literally not a piece of evidence, you're almost compelled to think, is this an organized offender?
Right, yeah.
Which this individual is clearly not. And he doesn't fit the profile of a sociopath. It's rare for sociopaths to be up on these up and down drug binges, so to speak. Sociopaths are sociopaths all the time. They don't take a break.
No, that's true.
And so, for me, it's somewhat difficult in nailing it down. But what I can say, and I'm very hopeful of this, as I know you are, and I know Mr. Kesse and Mrs. Kesse and Ms. Kesse family, as well as the Ocasio family. And I should mention there is also he is a person of interest in the disappearance of a young man by the name of Onda Christopher George last February.
Right.
I've interviewed people where I question whether Mr. George is actually missing, but I did want to mention it in the event that we're giving a complete picture. But I'm seeing in the fringe of this gentleman's associates so many links to the possibility that it can involve Jennifer and that these are solvable cases. And I can, as you know, Dana, in your years of work, I can tell you that the worst part for a family in this situation is the not knowing.
Right.
I don't know the Ocasios, but I have met the Kesses, and I have worked on their daughter's case and in Florida as well. And the grace that they have shown, I am pretty certain I would not be able to.
Yep.
I would hope to draw from that, God forbid, if I was ever in that situation, and I think of them often, and if I'm in a situation where I'm dealing with someone that is missing somebody, to use them as a model, if you will. I just am so hopeful that this can progress to a point where we can find answers for these ladies and their family.
Absolutely. And Blake, our time is almost up, but our fingers are crossed, and I wanted to bring you on tonight to get the update, but to also thank you for the good work that you and your group are doing to bring some hope, some answers maybe, but at least to be able to give a voice to those out there that can't speak for themselves, and I'm talking about the missing that haven't been found. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana, and thank you to the readers at Scared Monkeys and family at Scared Monkeys and Blink on Crime, because without them, we wouldn't be getting the tips and the inside information that we need to help progress these cases and to bring these families home and their loved ones back.
Absolutely. We're an awesome group, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of it. Thank you.
Damn right. All right.
Thank you, brother.
Take care.
You too, Dana.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
That's Blink from blinkoncrime.com. That's it. That's tonight's show. You can check out our website at